Congratulations, you've successfully created a relationism tactic. Now you need to get the right players to play in your system. We'll look at how to recruit players for relationism systems. Recruitment is a vital success for any tactical philosophy, and relationism is no different. So first, player attributes. In addition to the attributes recommended for each player by the game, there are key attributes I look for when I'm trying to recruit players for relationism. For example, eccentricity is not a super important attribute for a goalkeeper, but I like to sign a goalkeeper that has 10 plus or more eccentricity. It gives me confidence that he's versatile enough to play in any goalkeeping role. I also like to look at first touch, as this sort of means he's good with the ball at his feet and he can play out of the back very comfortably. Rushing out, commanding the area, that's like communication. These are also strong attributes for a relationism goalkeeper. When it comes to distribution, I like to look at kicking, vision, and passing. In addition to player attributes, you can also look at player traits for the goalkeeper that I like to me, maybe starting counter-attacks or throws the ball with long, flat bullet throw. This is sort of helpful for goalkeepers as they can go ahead and do something really spontaneous and get your team started on a counter-attack. For central defenders, marking is the number one attribute that I look for, but you also already knew that, didn't you? I also look at tackling, passing, and decision making, as these are key attributes for a relationist central defender. Search for composure, as this means that the player won't lose the ball very easily when he's under pressure from the opponent's attackers. Work rate and stamina is also crucial for the defender. Since we're going to play with a high press, these attributes will ensure that the defender can cover the space without getting tired. For player traits like brings the ball out of the defense is something I also look for in the defender, as this adds an extra layer of being unpredictable. When searching for fullbacks, I search for fullbacks the same way I search for wingbacks. Attributes like dribbling, crossing, and technique are super important for wide defenders because they'll spend most of their time attacking anyway. Now remember, these attributes I'm sharing with you are the ones I look for in combination to the main attributes recommended for the role. I also like my relationist fullback to have similar attributes to a central midfielder like flair, vision, and passing, work rate, and pace. These are all important. Player traits for fullbacks are pretty standard. Get further forward is one of the main ones that I look at, but if he also has tries killer balls, then you're very lucky. In defensive midfield, the player will have to have a cool head. Composure is the most important attribute here. He also needs to carry the ball forward when in space and protect the defense when we're out of possession. So decision making, first touch, vision, aggression, and marking are key attributes to look for in the defensive midfielder. To be sure that I've got a well-rounded defensive destroyer, I look at tackling, marking, and work rate and stamina. For player traits, this will depend on the kind of defensive midfielder that you are looking for. There are two kinds of defensive midfielders: the destroyer defensive midfielder like Casemiro and N'Golo Kante, or the midfield creators like Sergio Busquets and Andre Pirlo. The traits will be slightly different. For a defensive midfielder, I look for marking opponent tightly and dive into tackles. For the creative defensive midfielder, I look for dictates tempo or tries killer balls. The central midfielder is slightly different from the defensive midfielder, but I recruit these guys the same way that I would recruit an attacking midfielder. The central attacking midfielder should have vision, passing, technique, and decision making to help us create chances for the team. Since we're playing a flexible, fluid relationism system, his finishing and attacking movement is also important, so the player can get into the box and finish off chances. First touch, flair, work rate. Did I also mention passing and vision? Yeah, double it. For player traits, look for move into channels, tries killer balls as well. Another interesting trait that works for the attacking midfielder or the central attacking midfielder is the run at the opposition's defense. Either run at the opposition defense or run through the center. Those are very good player traits for this particular role. For the wide midfielders, wide attackers, or wingers, whichever you prefer to call them, dribbling and pace are super important, especially on Football Manager. We're sticking to a low tempo often when we are playing our relationism approach, but our attackers should still be able to outrun defenders. Passing and vision are also super important as they'll create chances from wide areas. Of course, our striker will move around a lot, so the wide attackers need to have finishing too, because they will likely end up on the end of the attacking moves. Vision, yes. Work rate, yes. Technique, yes. Shockingly, I also look at bravery. It helps if the player is not afraid to put himself in difficult, dangerous situations. For the striker, a relationism striker will likely be a roaming creative striker. Finishing is important, but so is passing and vision. Off the ball also helps, so he can drift into attacking positions. Also look for teamwork and dribbling in case the player is in a 1v1 situation on the wings, he can get himself out of trouble. Remember that these are the attributes that you look for in combination with the default attributes recommended for those player roles when you choose a player. These attributes will help you recruit the right people, and if you're wondering why I said congratulations earlier, you probably haven't created a relationism tactic yet. Watch this comprehensive video and see how you can go about making your own. See you there.